What's going on, guys? This is Damian from The Lookout and welcome to the first video of the year where we'll be talking about Dashpack, how it was designed and why this support design should be adopted moving forward. But before we begin, half of you aren't subscribed yet and we are on our way to 3,000 subs. We're trying to get there by the end of March. So if you like this type of content, and we will be putting out a ton of content this year, hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps us out and maybe we will reach 3K by the end of March. Now, roll the video.
Card Market is Europe's largest platform for all TCGs. Always find the right cards by buying and selling them across Europe with other players and collectors. Be it singles, boosters, booster boxes, or any other accessories, you name it. Card Market is the place to get them safely, securely, and readily available.
As with all of our videos, let's start with a breakdown. So, the newest Dashpack is here. It will be available in January. In this video, we will give you a brief info dump on what Dashpack is, what you have in it, what it supports, and then we will more focus on the history of support, lessons for future support design, and, maybe my personal score for the Dashpack. So yeah, if you're looking for a video going over different types of support, like different cards, we'll be having those types of video out tomorrow. Today we're talking about the legacy of support design in Dragon Ball Super. What's a Dashpack? Dashpack, well, I like to call this like a mini set, because that's what it is. It's basically a mini set with the goal of supporting older archetypes from the Unison Warrior block. So you will have a couple of archetypes that will get a few cards of support to, fix their issues and just like boost them, like put them into the current era of Dragon Ball, like give them a shot against the current decks. Let's dive into details. So Dashpack will be available in January. You can get it by playing at your store tournaments. Check with your LGS, will they have the Dashpack, will it be available at tournaments? If not, you can also get it by buying 6 packs of any Dragon Ball Super card game set. So if you don't want to buy Fighter's Ambition, you don't need to buy Fighter's Ambition. You can buy some other product. That's fine, as long as it is 6 packs, you should be getting 1 Dashpack per 6 packs. The pack contains a total of 18 new cards split across 6 archetypes. I wrote 5, it's not 5, it's 6, I'm sorry. 1 pack equals 5 cards. So in every pack you are guaranteed 1 Z card. This can be either a Z leader or a Z battle card, and 4 normal cards at random. The at random is, a bit of a, it's at random, you might not get what you want, but I'm pretty certain that you will be able to trade it with other players because, there are 6 archetypes in here. So someone probably wants to play something that you have and you can just trade for it, it's fine. Regarding the 6 archetypes that got supported, it is Spaceship from Ultimate Squad, Blue Bojack got supported, Trunks Jita, this is a fan favorite, Green Cooler, this one has me the most hyped, I love green, so if you're a green player, trust me, Green Cooler support is out of this world. Supreme Kai of Time, this is also an older leader that never really saw play, but Dashpack fixed some of its issues, so it will probably see some play now. And another fan favorite in Agents of Destruction, this is a 5-colored prismatic deck. So if you're someone who likes playing 5 colors, this is the deck for you. From this point onwards, we're talking about card design and specifically support design. So what are the goals of this Dashpack? I have identified 4 goals. It is to fix core issues of older archetypes, to bring older archetypes up to date, to fill gaps in the older archetypes, and to get players to give these old archetypes a fresh try. The most important one here is, in my opinion, number 1, to fix the issues of older archetypes. That's what support usually tries to do, as we will examine through this video. So let's dive into that one and see how support was made in the past and why it should be made in the form of a dash pack going forward. Okay, so we're looking at fixing issues. Well, it's not uncommon for Dragon Ball cards to have some issues. Some archetypes just have issues. It happens during the design. It's not done on purpose. So anyway, yeah, issues exist and we need to fix them. These issues range from low starting life, bad mechanics, weird wording, clunky gameplay, and other. For example, I'm using Supreme Kai of Time here. It's a cool leader. However, the issue is that you need to crit 2 of your lives for it to do anything. That's the issue, like paying 2 lives is such a huge cost, and luckily the dash pack has addressed this. Anyway, these issues hold archetypes back, and Bandai has often attempted to fix them through multiple ways, which will be now examined. Let's start with the first and most commonly used one, erratas. So every video is someone's first video, which is why I'm going to go over what erratas are. If you know this, feel free to skip to the next section. But for all of you who are new here and are wondering what erratas are, an errata is a functional change of the text of a card. Basically, for example, you have, I don't know, a card that says, hey, awakens at 3 lives, and then it is errata to, let's say, awakens at 3 lives, and if you have like 4 Saiyans in the drop. You can look at the image that I've placed here, the errata portion only. This is from the Crimson Goku leader, to see like this changed in the text. That's basically what errata is. An errata can also be a functional change made to make the card work properly. Like if sometimes Bandai forgets to add a word or words things weirdly, like so that the cards aren't played in a way that they're supposed to be played, that's where erratas take place. They just kind of fix the text, and that's what they do. Like they fix core issues. However, erratas are more used as a method of nerfing archetypes rather than fixing the core issues that the archetypes have. Here is an example of an errata made solely to nerf an archetype. King Vegeta, which used to play Young Invaders, was insane. It was an insane deck, and instead of banning anything, Bandai just used an errata, and it errated the Young Invaders cards. On the right you can see the errated version, and this was done solely to nerf the archetype. This doesn't improve the game mechanics at all. It doesn't fix any of the core issues that the archetype had. It was made flat out to kill it. And here you can see an example of an errata made to fix wording issues with the card. Ultimate Dark Dragon Slaying Bullet was played incorrectly, basically, because the rules allowed you to do this because of the way that the card was worded. So this is an example of Bandai not nerfing a card, not nerfing an archetype, but changing its text to fix the wording, to make it see play as it was intended. In conclusion, an errata isn't a way to fix an archetype, because in majority of cases, erratas exist to bring down the power level of an archetype or to make the card work in a way that it was designed to work in the first place. But empowering archetypes, which would basically be fixing them, isn't something that errata is supposed to do. Like, maybe it can do this. For example, once again, the Kai example, Supreme Kai of Time was fixed through a Z battle card, but you could have just added like a line of text to say that, okay, when you crit your own life, you add 2 life from the 2 cards from the top of your deck to life. This could have been added to the leader. However, that is not the philosophy behind erratas. Just to say one last thing, I'm against erratas in general, as they are new player unfriendly, and that's kind of besides the point, so I'm not gonna talk about this. But I'm not a huge fan of erratas, and I'm not a huge fan of how they're employed, how they're used. So yeah, basically that's erratas. Erratas aren't a way to fix issues. To fix core issues. They're a way to nerf cards. The next type of support that we will be going over is tournament pack support. This is the one that we'll be referring the most throughout the video. It's becoming more and more common for other archetypes to get a single support card in a tournament pack. Unfortunately, it's also becoming more and more common for cards that should have been in the set being in the tournament pack, and that's awful, but it is what it is. Hopefully that will change. While not all of this support is bad, the majority of it doesn't fix the problem. This is the thing with tournament pack support. It doesn't fix the problem, it just adds more to the archetype. And that's it. It just gives you more tools instead of fixing things. Presenting the 3 core issues of tournament packs. First, cards that should have been in the main set, because there is no reason for these cards not to be in the main set. Now think of it like this. This card takes 1 slot in a tournament pack. You could have just taken out like a bad card or a skillless card and just inserted this one instead. No reason not to do that. The second is support, but it lacks a crucial keyword, or it lacks a crucial mechanic, or it lacks something, and then it just ends up doing nothing instead. And the last one is my most hated type of tournament support, actual trash. This is just actual trash. So in conclusion, are they good? Are tournament pack cards good? Well, tournament pack support cards rarely fix the issue because they just add more to decks, for better or sometimes for worse, like with that actual trash unison. The most used tournament pack cards seem to be the generic ones, which just add to the color in general instead of addressing issues with certain archetypes. These are really the most used tournament pack cards. In fact, and I'm announcing this right here, for an objective answer to how good are tournament pack cards, how prominent they are in the game, hit that subscribe button and keep a lookout for a video coming out next week, because we're doing a crazy experiment. I'm going to give you an objective answer on how good tournament pack cards are and how often they are in decks. That's what I'm gonna say. But for this video, yeah, are they good? They're not necessarily bad as cards, but they're bad as, things to fix the issue. The next type of support is in-set support. Now, in-set support it's those cards that are made to support older archetypes, but they're put in a set that has nothing to do with them. Those multicolored cards. That's like the majority of them are multicolored. How effective are they? Well, they're basically like tournament packs. I mean, if you want to know how effective they are, you can ask me, I'll check it up. Like, it might be an interesting, experiment, but I don't think they're very effective. So yeah, they just exist to try to buff an archetype, but they're still not designed to fix anything. They're just pack fillers. Only a handful of them have ever made any impact in the decks that they were made to support, and the only one that right now comes to mind is the SS4 Gogeta for Prismatic Bardock, who also saw play in some other decks. But that's basically it. So in-set support, not really a solution. And the final type of support design is support in anniversary boxes. Now, this design is basically the same as tournament packs or in-set support. It's like 1 card, sometimes more, but sometimes it's just like 1 card made to support an archetype, but it's not always bad, which is a bit infuriating, because it shows that Bandai is capable of designing a 1 card amazing support for an archetype that like fixes its issues or just like pushes it a bit above the rest. But instead of doing this with tournament packs or in-set support, we just get trash instead, or like useless cards. When it comes to anniversary box cards, some of them are hit, some of them are miss. Basically, like this Whis is a full hit. The Vegito Z Leader, absolute hit. But then again, you have like, I can't even think of some of those. There were some red ones for Gogeta BR like last year or so, a couple of years back. I think those were just bad. So sometimes it's good, sometimes it isn't. It's basically the same with the tournament pack cards, but these ones are actually much better. This brings me to the main talking point of the video. the main thing that I want to emphasize, and hopefully someone from Bandai listens. One isn't enough. When it comes to supporting older archetypes, one card usually isn't enough. We've seen one card having success in the latest anniversary box, but those cards are astronomically powerful. Those cards are just stupid strong. But when it comes to, like inset cards, tournament packs, every other way of supporting older archetypes that we have seen, it's usually just one card. And if this dash pack proves anything, it is that one card isn't enough. The core difference between dash pack and other products is that dash pack gives you 3 cards instead of 1. This new approach to support design manages to avoid pitfalls of its predecessors by tackling the core issues from 3 different angles, which means that you can dedicate 1 or 2 cards to fixing an issue of an archetype, or maybe fixing 2 issues depending on which archetype are you tackling, and then you can also dedicate another 1 or 2 card slots, depending of course on how many things you needed to fix, to provide new support, good new support. Let's talk about this. To illustrate the point, we will be making a bit of an experiment. Let's examine different types of support next to the dash pack. It's still too early to know how impactful the dash pack support will end up being. It's impossible to tell. But through observation and comparison, we can draw some conclusions in regard to the shift in design philosophy and its impact on supported archetypes. Before we begin, if you're enjoying this video, if you like this type of content, please consider hitting that subscribe button. Now, let's go. Example number 1, Spaceship deck. So what are its weaknesses? Well, its biggest weakness is the Smoke Dragon that just came out, and some other pieces of Unison hate. It's relatively slow nowadays, and it is outshined by Goji Tenshin. Knowing these weaknesses, we need to set up a goal for support. The main goal is, of course, to solve weaknesses. We will be tackling the Smoke Dragon, we will be focusing on that one, the Unison hate first. And the other goal is to get this deck up to date with the Zenkai format. To fix the weaknesses, we are taking a 3 card approach, and to tackle the biggest one, Smoke Dragon, here is the Z Leader. The Z Leader gives you a Unison barrier. It fixes the issue of Smoke Dragon being bad and removing your Unisons. Well, now you can see that our core issue has been solved in 1 card. However, the deck is still falling behind other red decks. So in order to, bump it up a bit, what was our second goal, to get it up to date, we are adding more aggro and we are adding another piece of support to the deck. With this approach, we have basically managed to cover its weakness while simultaneously adding more to it, increasing the odds of this deck actually seeing play in the future metagame. On the other hand, here is example number 2. Vegeta Destined Confrontation, probably one of the worst leaders in the game. Weaknesses: extremely conditional draw, conditional effects subpar by the Unison Warrior block standards, let alone Zenkai format standards. Goals: fix the draw problem, give this deck a good boost. So once again, like with Spaceship, we're looking to solve the main weakness, which in my opinion is the conditional draw, and we're looking to give this deck a bit of a boost so that it can see play in the current metagame. Here is the single card solution that Bandai gave us. It has a lot of problems. So this was made to fix the problem of conditional drawing, to give you some sort of a more reliant draw engine. However, it has literally no protection at all. The deck still remains too retroactive, so not even that was fixed, and it tries to do much but does very little instead. If instead of just focusing on making this, a good draw engine, like let's say that it had barrier and activate main was just removed. That's it. And what will happen is it will be a much better card because it will have actually, protection on it, and it serves the purpose of drawing a card. However, because you need to do so much in one single card, you need to take things away. Because when it comes to design, Bandai probably looked at this and thought like, okay, if we give this card like deflect barrier or just like one of those with activate main, it might end up being too powerful, but you didn't even have to put activate main in the first place. You could have just made the auto if you wanted to fix the draw problem. The result is that weaknesses of the deck remain and the deck is still too weak. Like, that's it, the deck hasn't been improved in the slightest with the addition of Vegeta Elite Arrogance. It just didn't accomplish anything. Example number 2 would be, the Supreme Kai of Time. Problems, you need to crit 2 lives in order to get your big payoff, and black is too weak at the moment. Goals, fixing the critting lives part and get the leader up to date with the current Zenkai block standards. Fixing the issue through a 3-card approach, we have Pan, which fixes the critical lives issues, so main issue of the deck fixed immediately. And then instead of doing, the Vegeta and just cramming more and more into one card, you just split the rest of the support to 2 other cards, Sangoten and Trunks. Amazing cards. There you go. Kai will probably be seeing more play now. This is a bit of a repetition, but we need to look at the results. So the GT deck and Kai, unlike Vegeta, got their weaknesses covered and were provided with additional powerful support. Spreading the issues over 3 cards instead of tunnel visioning and focusing on 1 card provides much better support. Knowing this, how should the design change in the future? These are my suggestions for future design. First off, you narrow down the support in each set. This is regarding the in-set support. So, instead of having like 4 cards spread across 4 colors or like in multicolored, and each one is supposed to, support something, but it doesn't really do the job, just pick an archetype. Just pick an archetype and go with it. Maybe just focus on one archetype in this set. Instead of, having like Goku for red-green and Bardock for yellow-blue Bardock screw and stuff, and then like Android for Gamma and stuff. Why don't you just focus on, for example, Surge Broly or like Piccolo deck or something? Just dedicate more cards to it. Narrow down the support in each set. 1 card usually doesn't do the trick. Future support should come in sets of 2 or 3. And this is my final solution. Take out the obvious set card out of tournament packs and replace it with additional support for a chosen archetype. Give all archetypes 2 pieces of support instead of just 1, and of course, try to make them good. Here's what I'm talking about. So, for example, Fat Gotenks. This card is mandatory basically for running the Fat Gotenks deck, but instead of it being in the set, it came out in tournament pack, which came out along with the set. For no reason, for no reason whatsoever. Other than like, well, we need to have people go to LGSs to play. People will go to play to LGSs anyway. No, not for this, they'll just buy singles online. So put this card into main set. And then, in its place, look at something like the extra Broly. We got like the demon approaches did literally nothing. So look at this card and say like, okay, we need to add something else. And then add another card for this archetype. Same with Bulma. Bulma is mandatory for Gogeta decks. So put this card in the set and in its place design another card for Helku. Because Vegeta is awesome, but Helku could also use more support. So you just put 2 support cards and the ones that should be in the set go into the set. Because Bandai, trust me, if anyone from Bandai is watching this, trust me, people don't go to tournaments to open cards that are supposed to be in the set. Like, if anyone wants Fat Gotenks or Bulma, they can just order singles online. People will go to tournaments, to LGSs anyway, because they want to play with other people. Like, it's better to reward them by giving them, more archetype support in tournament packs, I'm pretty sure that people will be more excited to open, good support for some of their favorite archetypes than just opening something that should have been in the set anyway. And it's like, okay, like, this is like, it feels bad now. Like, what am I supposed to do with this? So, yeah, this is my solution, and I hope you like it. That's it for the video. Let me know in the comments below, how would you handle support distribution and support design? If you like these types of videos, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button. We are on our way to 3,000 subs. We're trying to hit it by the end of March. But yeah, let me know in the comments, what do you think of this approach to design? How would you design support? Do you think the Dash Pack is a perfect solution? Should this philosophy be implemented into other products as well? Let me know in the comments. I read all of your comments. I try to respond to everything. I love our little community. And tomorrow we'll start covering Dash Pack cards, so come back for that. This has been Damien from The Lookout, and I'll see all of you in the next video.